Good morning, everybody. Hopefully you're having a good Friday. We finally made it to the end of the work week, which means it's time to go through those first alert safety desk stories that are very important, keeping you and your family safe every morning with those stories that come down overnight and new and you know, we talk about recalls so often. We're going to talk about yard and garage sale safety on that note. That was one we did today, but going back to some of the bigger stories that we also did throughout the week, really important to get into resources against rising teen sextortion. We'll talk about that. Also, why working women are more stressed out now. That was a very interesting report, pretty lengthy. So I wanted to take the time this morning to give you the resources that you need to look into where those are and read more on your own if you want to, because they're really important. So we'll touch on that first with the rising teen sextortion, but I'll make an appearance here so I could say hello to all of you. There we go. Good morning, everybody. So thanks for being here. Aisha Morales. So as you might know, I do the First Alert Safety Desk every day during Action 2 News this morning. We touch on usually 1 to 2 stories, if not more, that are really big happening in our area and things that will keep you and your family safe. So that first one that I want to get to, rising teen sextortion. It is pretty scary. So this is for parents that you really need to hear this. I was surprised by this. You know, so much of it is the fact that our kids are online, right? And we really need to talk to them about this too. So what you're reading here, and it's on our website in case you missed some of this. This is just some of the bullet points. But the Wisconsin Department of Justice basically has resources now for you, parents, and for teens to better understand how kids become victims to online exploitation. So we talk about how it's one of the greatest risks, if not the greatest risk, actually, that kids and teens face online. Officials, though, say most parents don't quite understand how that happens. So we wanted to give you this resource. And I'll go to our website. I'm going to pull it up here so you know what I'm talking about. So I want to show you on our website right here. We're going to go back to where it is right here. It's under the Safety Desk tab right here. So if you go and you'll see No Escape Room offers resources against rising teen sextortion. So I'm going to click here and then you can kind of see how easy it is. We make this really easy for you. So this is great. See what it says, sextortion, one of the greatest risks that kids and teens face online. And then it kind of leads you into this short clip right into the link eventually that you'll see. So we've been seeing those cases go up, and that's why officials really want to have resources for parents to better understand how to protect your child from this, because so much of our kids and teens are online. And you see this kid right here, he's gaming. We've got kids that are always, you know, gaming too online. So we've been following those recent cases of teens becoming victims of sextortion. It is a form of child sexual exploitation. Officials say in these cases, teens and kids, they're being threatened and they're being blackmailed. So more often than not, when they become a victim, the suspects in these cases, they threaten to share nude or sexual images of that child, and then they demand more sexual content or even money. And then that's when the blackmailing comes in if the victim doesn't do what they ask. So the DOJ, the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force, which is a mouthful, but they have resources for online safety. This is one of them right here. And again, we have this link for you right on the website where the story is. They've received 45 cyber tips related to sextortion so far this year. In 2023, they received close to 180 tips. And these tips are legitimate, they're valid, and you know, parents are seeing this all the time now. So really speak to your kids about this. This is an interactive film, so it's going to help you experience, actually make you experience, because it's not a good thing. It's going to make you experience what it feels like to get caught in online sextortion. It's scary, but it's important. So you can find a way to get out of that and show your teen, this is the situation, this is how you get out of it. And, you know, maybe encourage them to talk to you about what happened. And this makes it easy. You could do it as a family together to talk about why this is so important. So I really wanted to talk about that one. But again, everything that you see right here is on WBAY.com under the Safety Desk tab. Another important story that I wanted to talk about is women more stressed, more concerned about safety than they were a year ago. This is very interesting, and the statistics are pretty shocking as well. I'll take this out of the way so you can read. So this report, also under the safety desk tab, it says working women are more stressed than they were, and they're also worried about their safety. So this is from a global outlook report. It also talks about how more women are struggling with that work-life balance, which is pretty relatable, and they feel they do the lion's share of household chores. So this is talking to women all over the world, 10 different countries, including the US, and it's detailing how women's disproportionate share of those domestic responsibilities, those chores that I just mentioned, taking a toll on their careers and their mental health. It's not really surprising. We hear about this a lot, but what this report really goes into, it's talking about the pandemic. So you all remember the pandemic and how things sort of changed and shifted. A lot more people worried about the safety of their families, right, and their kids. And women, according to these reports and some of these surveys, women felt it the most as far as how they were stressed and trying to get that work-life balance and those concerns that they had. So it was really interesting. I'll show you once again. We'll go back to the camera here so I could show you the website. And it's again under WBAY.com. And here's the report. It says study women are more stressed, so you'll see that there. But here's that new global outlook report link. So you just click that. It's, if I remember correctly, 49 pages. So here it is. It's got all the information and you can download it. It's from Deloitte Women. They were really great. They have all this really useful information that's user-friendly, easy to digest, believe it or not, even though it's a 49-page report. But it talks about the critical workplace and societal factors that can really impact a woman's career and their mental health. And it mentions how the findings are thought-provoking. So some of the findings and some of the statistics were this. Safety-wise, nearly half of women in the U.S. are worried about their safety when they're at work or traveling to work. And with that, 1 in 10 of those very same women said that they've been harassed while commuting to work or harassed by a colleague. And so this report says stress for women has just not improved since the pandemic. And so it also found that many women who experience challenges related to menstrual disorders, menopause, feel they're not able to seek support or take time off work. So it also has an entire section on hybrid work, which I thought was really interesting, how that's improving, how it can help women with that work-life balance and sort of that perspective. But again, nearly half of women reporting the stress levels are higher. So pretty interesting stuff. If you want to go ahead and read that, that is on our website, WBAY.com. Another one, as we go into the weekend, and Steve, meteorologist Steve Balon, our chief, he's been talking about the weather and how we saw those showers. And it's not going to be a perfect weekend, but it is going to be overall pretty decent if you are a garage sale bargain hunter. I am. I love thrifting and bargain shopping. So if you want to take a look at this story here, I'm going to pull up some of the bullet points right here. So not to be a downer, but obviously there's safety things to think about with everything, even garage sale shopping, because we do so much of the recalls here at the First Alert Safety Desk, or when we do it during the morning show. And we talk about those recalls. We bring up the Consumer Product Safety Commission website, which I'll show you in just a minute. But some of the safety tips that you want to consider, because you don't want to bring a hazard home. You get that great deal, that's awesome, but especially when it comes to kid products, things for your child, check for battery compartments for signs of corrosion, look for signs of damaged or repaired wiring and cords, test appliances, especially when you're on site if you can before you buy it, and avoid those toys that have any chipping paint. We talked about that this morning too, because there could be a chance that it could contain things like lead or maybe a sharp corner, something that will not be safe for your child. So take a look at that, and we'll go back to the website to use that as a resource for you. And it's right here. Just go under the story, under the Safety Desk tab, and go right down. And this is the Consumer Product Safety Commission website that we were showing everybody. Just scroll, and you can type in the product. Another thing you could do is go right to the main page on the website, the Consumer Product Safety Commission, and go down and see the different recalls. But I think what's easiest is to just do a quick search. If you're at that garage sale, just type that in. Type in the product, and if it has the code, you could also put that in here. It's really interesting and really useful. But again, it's for those parents that are worried about, oh, should I get this? Is this going to be safe for my child? Take a look at that. That is really helpful, and maybe you can, do that moving forward, especially now with those garage sales popping up in the neighborhood. So we've been seeing them everywhere in our neighborhood already. So a lot of those stories really important. We didn't get to all of them this morning. We just kind of try to highlight here from the digital news desk those important stories. But on our website, once again, I'll go back to that. It's just so helpful because we put everything there for you. Just go to the safety desk tab right here. It'll load for you eventually. And then scroll down. I mentioned a lot those links. We often will have this right at the very top, the links featured on the First Alert Safety Desk. So you could go right there. Makes it really easy to search for what I've mentioned. And then you could see the other stories that we've covered. We talked about the state of the Office of School Safety at risk of closing. They help schools prepare for emergency situations. And then you can go down and see a couple of the other studies that I reported on this week. Another big one was this one right here, major fines for wireless carriers sharing location data. That was a consumer alert as well, kind of goes back and forth between the two. But take a look at this one here, vaping increases risk of exposure to lead and uranium. That was an interesting one. If you have a teenager who is vaping, maybe talk to them about the risks there. And then we talked about measles, lots of content, lots of stories this week, really important stories that keep you and your families safe. So take a look at that if you'd like, always at WBAY.com. But I appreciate you being here. And for those of you tuning in on Facebook, thank you for being there. And if you watch this over later, make sure you chime in, say good morning, say hello, and then make sure you tune in Monday morning. We'll have, of course, more First Alert Safety Desk stories for you then. But in the meantime, tune in for Action 2 News mid-morning. It'll be me and Steve this morning, keeping you posted on top stories, safety stories included, and what's going on with the weather. So that'll be coming up here at 9 a.m. here pretty soon. Thank you so much for being here. Have a happy and safe weekend. Enjoy the weather out there.